All right, folks, so welcome back to the Wanneroo channel. So today we're just going to do a brief little do-it-yourself video. I've run into this little issue and thought I'd make a video and share it with everyone else. But probably a lot of you're familiar with these Smith Contractor sprayers that are out there. I know I've bought them at Lowe's before. You can get them on Amazon. In general, they're great sprayers for this one. I actually use in the sauna with distilled water in it only, and also I use it to clean brass from shooting, and basically rinse it off whenever I'm done cleaning with it. So I just use this one for distilled water only. I have another one that I use for spraying concrete cleaner spray, siding cleaner. Another one that I use for weed killer, a natural weed killer that I use. So they have a lot of different uses. They're very good, I find, overall. However, if you've ever had any experience out there dealing with any sort of water pumps and stuff like that, eventually seals fail and you start to have issues. And the main point of weakness on these is the pump itself. So basically it's a cylinder here that we have with a pump sprayer in it. And then over time you can see this one here is kind of grungy, the seal's gone, all that sort of thing. So we're just going to clean this up a little bit and get it repaired. And then also too, the little rubber stopper here has basically disintegrated. So that started giving me some issues. So they kind of, over time, they start to kind of crap out and you have to service them or repair them. These are the old seals. So this one isn't too bad, but it was just starting to kind of come off of the one piece there. And then this one here was just starting to have some issues with it. It's a little bit kind of bent out of shape there. And it's just starting to get a little bit of dry rot. I don't know if you can kind of make that out, but just along the edges there and stuff where it's getting dry rotted and all that. And it's just time for something new and to fix it. So one of the things you can get is this service kit for the Viton Pump that fits down in there and all that. So basically you have your three pieces here. So in this video we're just going to go through how to get all that fixed up and get it running like new again. So step number one is basically we're just going to get all this stuff cleaned up the best that we can, get some paper towels going and just try to kind of clean this all out and kind of just get a lot of that residue that is kind of built up over the years. This particular one here, I've used this for a natural weed killer. So, it just kind of, I see some gunky stuff down there at the bottom. So I think what I'm going to go do with this is I'm just going to go and rinse it out and try to get some of the crap out of the bottom and try to get this as clean as we can. And then also too, with this one right here, with the pump handle and all that, and then the top cap and all that, just gonna, get rid of all the goop, basically. And just try to get it, not gonna like overdo it really, but just try to clean up some of that goop on here. And it's never going to be like new again, but at least if we get some of the excess crud off, that might help basically. So we'll get some of that cleaned up and all that. All right, so I'm going to go rinse out that other thing and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got some of the grunge cleaned up. So now we're going to go ahead and open up the service kit here, get our pieces out. So this is our bottom piece on the plunger there. This is the little rubber gasket valve at the bottom. And then we also have our seal. And like I can tell with this one compared to the old one there, Like the old one is just like real kind of flimsy, and this one is kind of a bit more stout. So this one definitely feels a bit more worn. You can just kind of tell. So anyways, to kind of put all this back together, the first thing that we can do, it probably doesn't really matter which order it goes in, but the first thing that we can do, and all I need is basically just a little dab. I don't need a huge amount, but we're just going to kind of coat this with a little bit of oil. So this is just happens to be just the oil I had on hand. Maybe it'll work well, maybe it won't, but hey, you just have to use what you have on hand. And then the barrel here basically just goes on the barrel. And like I can already tell, this is a much better fit than the old one. The old one was definitely a bit loosey-goosey. So we'll go ahead and get this into place. Gonna have to work it. Yeah, big difference over the old one. Even though the old one, kind of whenever you compare them side by side, it kind of, you know, looks like they're like the same. The other one, you can just tell from the use over the years, it's just kind of real flimsy. This one's a lot tighter fit to go on. So gradually just kind of work it with our fingers here. And then, boom, there we go. So we got that on now. Big difference I can tell, like with the old one. The old one was just like, kind of like, did not have as good a fit on there. It just kind of felt like a loose rubber band. And, you know, it was one of those things where it just started to kind of undo itself over time. So I think that was kind of part of it, where the efficiency of the pump just kind of went down over time. All right, so then the last thing is we have our little rubber stopper here, and that should be pretty easy. Just plug that into the end there. So, all right, and then basically got to get all this back together. All right, now to get this back on, just make sure that you have this collar on first, and then this piece right here. There's no threads in this. You just basically have to take it yourself, kind of get it started, and then just start kind of screwing it on there. And just keep going, and then eventually it just bottoms out. A little more to go. All right, so there we go for that. All right, so we got our two pieces now, this piece and then this piece. So we've got our seal back on with a little coating of oil. We got our plunger in there, and we should be good to put it all back together. So pretty easy putting it back together. Essentially, there's these two tabs right here, so we just need to pop those back into place, and there we go. Oh yeah, that sounds so much better than the old one. Just makes me realize just how bad the other one was. Okay, so let's get it hooked up to the sprayer now and see how it goes. Okay, so we got it all back together. So let's see how this all ends up working. Let's screw this back in. Okay, that's much better. Right before we rebuilt it, basically it was leaking all over the place. With the plunger was all messed up, and then the other seal, and so all the fluid was basically coming up right up through the center here, and also leaking out the sides. So it looks like we have a pretty good seal. So let's go just try it out real quick. So good. Back in business without the pump leaking everywhere. So we're doing good. Love it. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks y'all for tuning in. So hope you learned something good out of that. And pretty much within 10 minutes, we got our Smith sprayer back in business. And pretty easy to do. Not hard at all. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We got more videos coming down the pike. So stay tuned.